pastor phoned a family who had been recently visiting his church, and the phone was answered by a young boy, and he said, "Who is this?" And he said, "My name's Timmy." And he said, "Hi, Timmy." He said, "Is your mom home?" He said, "Yeah, but she's busy." He said, "Well, okay, is your dad home?" And he said, "Yes, but he's busy." And he said, "Are there any other adults there?" And he said, "Yes, the police are here." He said, "Well, can I speak to the policeman?" "No, they're busy." He said, "Well, is anyone else there?" And he said, "The fireman." He said, "Well, can I speak to the fireman?" He said, "No, they're busy." He said, "Why are all these people doing? Why are they so busy?" He said, "They're looking for me." You know, Timmy isn't the only one that's being looked for, is he? He said, God's looking for all of those people who don't know Him. He's searching out there to find that one's lost soul. You know, the scriptures tell us that Jesus would leave the shepherd would leave the 99 in search of the one, right? So each of us is important to Him, and He is on this mission that we may come to know Him. We may be drawn closer to Him. He has created a God-sized hole in our hearts that draws us to Him. It's a hole that nothing else can fill. Nothing else can satisfy. In the previous weeks, we've been talking about what? Different people who encounter Jesus in different ways, and how we can take those encounters and we can learn from them, right? And we can move on and maybe apply them to our daily lives and maybe see something that will help us in our Christian walk. And today's no different. We're gonna dwell into the scriptures and look at an event in which Jesus is teaching the religious leaders and the lawmakers, and they've gathered in a house, and there is a large crowd there, we're told. There's a large number of people. Now you imagine if say, you heard Michael Jordan or LeBron or the president or somebody who was famous was over at Billy's house, right? We all going to go. I'm going to go by and see them. I want to get an autograph. And how packed, once the word got out, that the place would be, right? That's what I imagine this place being like. People have heard of this miracle worker, Jesus, and they've come to see Him. They've gathered, they're packed in. Everything's closed. There's standing room only, the doorways you can't get in. There's probably a crowd outside the house waiting to hear just a nugget of truth that comes from this miracle worker they call Jesus. And that's the kind of the setting that we're in. And Jesus is sitting in the midst of the house, in the middle of the house, and He's talking and He's teaching. And there are these four men. These four men we're talking about. We don't know their names. They're anonymous, right? There's nothing special said about them, nothing new said about them. Just four men. And they are bringing their friend to Jesus. They are bringing their friend to be in the presence of Christ. He's paralyzed, we're told. He lies on a mat. So they're carrying Him on this mat. You can imagine what that's like. It's heavy, isn't it? If you've ever carried somebody, you know that the dead weight of a person is heavy. And they're carrying this man, and doesn't tell us why he's paralyzed or how long he's been paralyzed, only that he's paralyzed. Which means he doesn't have use of his legs or his arms, and maybe you've encountered somebody like that, and it's an existence that's not desirable, correct? Nobody's lining up to be that person, right? That we enjoy good health, we're able to walk around. Everybody walked in here, some of us limped in here and struggled with that, but we all got in here, right? Somebody say amen. 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 We're all here and we're sitting down. So they're bringing this man that could not get into the presence of Jesus unless his friends brought him. Right? So let's say that one more time. This man could not get into the presence of Jesus unless his friends brought him. Right? So they brought him, and he's there, but they can't get him in. The crowd's too big. They're all The doorways are blocked. How are they going to get him to see Jesus? How are they going to get their friend into the presence of Christ? Well, the roof. They go up on the roof and they dig their way in. Now, that's a little dangerous, isn't it? I don't even like to clean my roof. I mean, I don't know about you, but they climb up on the roof, these four guys, they take a chance. And I gotta, you gotta admire this. They're determined, aren't they? They're determined to get their friend in Christ's presence. So they dig a hole and they lower him down, right in front of Jesus. Now, that took some guts, didn't it? I mean, I'm not sure that homeowner wanted a sunroof. I'm not sure he was real happy with that. I don't know if the insurance covers that. I don't know how you would even apply for insurance on that. But they're taking a chance, and not to mention the chance they could have fallen off, they could have hurt themselves, right? But they take this chance because they're not going to be stopped by any obstacle that's put in their way. All right. They want to get somebody who can't be in the presence of Christ into the presence of Christ because they know that Jesus has that transforming power, doesn't they? Amen? Amen. Amen. Now, I wonder how many of you know somebody who needs to be in Jesus' presence? Yeah? You know somebody, might be a friend, might be a family member. Maybe it's the guy who cut you off, I don't know, in traffic, but there's a lot of people out there who need to be brought into Jesus' presence. Correct? Right. Get agreement on that. How many of you invited to church? All right. I know you didn't come here to get your toes stepped on, but then sometimes we got to step. All right. I apologize in advance. But how many of us have let a little obstacle stop us from bringing somebody to church? Right? Somebody who needs to be there, and you know they need to be there. You can see it in their life, in the way they're living their life. They need to be in Jesus' presence, but yet we don't. We let our fear of rejection stop us from asking. Or that big word, that no. That's that word that we trip over every time we encounter it. No, what do you mean no? Well, I said, no, I don't want to go to church. So we never ask him again, right? Well, I got one no, then one no's enough. If you were a salesman, one no is just one no closer to a yes, right? And what you're selling is a lot more important than life insurance. It's eternity insurance, right? So we let those things get in our way, but the truth of the matter is we need to be like the four friends. The four friends who are determined not to let their friend not be in the presence of Jesus. Not encounter the Christ. They know that Jesus has that healing power, that transforming power. We can't let no's get in our way. We need to be persistent. Let me ask you something. If you were on a boat and the boat was sinking, and you knew the boat was going to go down, there's nothing going to save you on that boat, but you had a life preserver, a life jacket. And you had one for you, and you had one for your friend or your family member. And you go to them and you say, the boat's sinking, we got to get off the boat, but good news, I got you a lifesaver. I got something that's going to save you. I got one for you. I put it on, let's get off the boat. And they said, no. No. So what would you do if they said that? Would you say, okay, see you later and walk away? Would you? No, you would use your energy, any persuasive manner you have within you, to get them to put that life vest on. Right? Why? Because you want to save them, right? You want them to be safe. You don't want them to drown. You don't want them to perish. Right? Right. So you're going to use whatever you can to get them to put that life jacket on. How come we don't do that to bring people to church or into the presence of Jesus? How come we don't have that determination that makes us ask that extra question? Like, why not? Why don't you want to come to church? Why can't you come this Sunday? I'll pick you up. We need to have that perseverance that says, I need to get these people in the presence of Christ because I know that He can transform them. Not that you can transform them, but He can transform them. He can change them. You see, only God can change your heart, not you. Not you. But what you can do is invite somebody to church. Invite a friend, invite a family member, encourage them to come, right? And you have to be persistent. You have to be persistent like the little boy. I heard the story about a little boy, and him and his siblings have been left with their father. Now, dads can kind of relate to this. They're not used to taking care of children as much as moms are. Mom knows the routine. But the father goes and he puts the children to bed. And they're up there in the bed. And he goes down and he settles into his recliner. All the prayers have been said. They're all tucked in. He sits back, and no word he sits back, he hears what? I need a glass of water. Can I have a glass of water? So he gets out of his seat, he gets a glass of water, and he takes it upstairs. Comes back downstairs, and he gets in his recliner and cuts the TV off. Next thing he hears is, I need to go to the bathroom. Can I get up and go to the bathroom? He goes back upstairs and takes him to the bathroom. And this goes on for about 30 minutes with alternating calls. I need some water. Can I get some more water? I need to use the bathroom. I need some water. And the dad's going up and down the stairs. And I don't know about you, but I know I don't like going up and down the stairs. And he goes up and down the stairs, and he's sitting in his recliner, and he hears one more cry. Dad, can I get another glass of water? And he said finally he'd had enough. And he said, you know, if I have to come up those stairs one more time, I'm bringing the spanking with me. So you need to get back in bed. And there was a silence. Then a few minutes later, you hear this voice say, Dad, when you come up here with that spanking, can you bring me a glass of water? Now that's persistence, right? That's when you know you really want something. But we need to be persistent like that, no. Truth be told, we're probably not nearly as persistent or even ask enough of people to come. I'm so excited to see young people in here. I mean, that's the future. That's the future. And I'm so thankful you're here. Thank you for your voices. I thank you for your singing. I thank you for ringing the bells. It just makes my heart jump with joy. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful for you here this week to share your talents with us. But somewhere somebody invited you to church, and somewhere somebody invited all of y'all to church, didn't they? You know, I read something this week that says that said that 84% of the people who come to church are invited by a friend. Not the pastor, not advertisement, but a friend. 84% of people who go to church come because of a friend. Now my question to you is, are you that kind of friend? Are you the kind of friend who will bring somebody into the presence of Jesus? That's $1 million question right there, isn't it? I always give these little challenges for folks to take home with them, to self-reflect, to think about it. Who do I know that I can invite to church? What family member do I know? What friend do I know who's not going to church? For some reason they've dropped out of church, or maybe they've been hurt by church. But you know, you'll never know until you have that conversation with them, right? Until you get beyond that note, right? Some of you have neighbors. Have you ever talked to them about church? Where do you go to church? I'm not trying to get folks who are visiting here to come to this church. I'm sure you probably already have your church. But I'm sure your minister would agree with me. You need to ask somebody to come to church. I mean, that's a universal thing, right? That's a universal thing. You say, well, I don't know anybody. I don't have any family that I'm here with. I don't have neighbors. You know, I live out in the country. I'm kind of secluded. How many people do you encounter a day? At the grocery store, drugstore, when you're out and about? You ever look at them and wonder what they're going through? You see, there's a reason that 84% of the people who come to church come because of a friend. And that's because their friends care about them, right? I care about my friends. I care enough to not want them to spend eternity in a place other than heaven, right? And if I care about them that much, then I'm going to invite them into the presence of Jesus. Somewhere where they can experience Christ in His Word, and through His song, and through His praises, by inviting them into church. You see, if you don't have a friend, then go out and make a friend. There's an old saying, make a friend, be a friend, invite a friend to church. Right? Make a friend, be a friend, invite a friend to church. In other words, you're going to encounter all kinds of people out there. There's a world filled with hurt out there. If you go outside these doors, there's a lot of people hurt. There's a lot of people who are looking to fill that God-shaped heart with all kinds of things, right? They're looking to fill it with alcohol and drugs. They're looking to fill it with all kinds of things. You just turn on the news. It's depressing, isn't it? It's depressing. All you see is people getting murdered, people getting attacked, you see people getting abducted. Nothing. There's no good news out there, is there? And I find it always amusing how we entertain ourselves with that, right? When you're standing in line at the grocery store and all those magazines are up there, talking about Brad and Angelina and all that, all that stuff, all those gossip magazines. We sit there and we read them. We entertain ourselves. The kids are picking things up and throwing them in your basket you don't even know about, but you're going to pay for them because you're so busy reading about Brad and Angelina, right? And if I ask you why are you reading that junk? You say, well, there's no good news. There's no good news. It's just bad news. I want to tell you something. There's good news. See, here I am. There's good news. Start with Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. There's plenty of reading to be done. There's plenty of good news. You're just reading in the wrong places. There's plenty of good news to be spread. It's right here. It's right here. If we spend as much time in here as we do reading gossip magazine or reading the Star to find out who wore what, who wore it better, who wore which outfit. If we spend our time in quality time with God, maybe we change our hearts a little bit, right? Maybe we can change our focus. Maybe we can realize that the best thing we can do is to bring other people into the presence of God, because that's what we've been asked to do. Right? That's what we've been asked to do. It's hard to believe that Christianity actually is growing. When you look around, we see a lot of dying churches, don't we, here in the United States. It's not so much growing here in the United States as it is overseas. In Korea, Christianity is like taking off like two of the biggest churches in the world are in Seoul, Korea. And at least one of them, you can't join the church unless you bring somebody with you who's not a convert, who doesn't know Christ. You can't bring, if you don't come forward with somebody, you can't join. Isn't that something? They're putting the challenge right out there, putting it in your face, saying, you put your money where your mouth is. You say you believe it, are you acting like you believe? They put it out there. I hate to get to stand before God and I say, here I am, da-da. And He say, did you bring anybody with you? Did you invite anybody to church? Does anybody know me because of you? I hope I can say yes. I hope you can say yes. Because if we can't say yes, then these beautiful children right here could be the last generation. You see, somebody cared enough about us to invite us to church at some point and to bring us into the presence of God. Somebody cared about us that much. And if we become a nation that doesn't care about our neighbor, that don't care about others, then we shouldn't question why our churches are dying. Because the answer is obvious. It's very obvious. So I'm going to leave you. I know you said I thought you weren't going to preach all 3 sermons, and I'm not. So I'm going to end up here, but I want to make a challenge to you. This is a week of what? Thanksgiving, right? We all have something to be thankful for. Pam brought it up earlier. Sometimes it's just that God woke me up today. You know, sometimes it's just that I have food on my table or shoes on my feet. I don't drive, but y'all drive cars to work. Nobody walked to work or walked here today, did they? You know, we have cars. We're blessed. If you live in the United States of America, you have already won the lottery. You're blessed. If you don't believe that, go to a third world country just for a week. You'll come back and appreciate America in a whole new way. Okay? So we have so much to be thankful for. You're going to spend time this week in the presence of what? Family and friends, right? Hopefully you're going to have a Thanksgiving meal with friends or with family, and they're going to be in your presence. And I want you to look around that room at that time when you've gathered around. And if there's nobody who's been brought to the presence of Christ, I want you to be that friend or that family member. And ask them, hey, what are you doing Sunday? I'm going to church. You want to come with me? The worst thing they can say is what? No. Has anybody ever died from that? No. Does everybody have to go to the hospital because they heard no? No. It's not that painful. Church, you never say no. Is everybody breathing? Everybody all right? Anybody need me to call an ambulance? No, everybody's good. Okay. And we're good. That's all you're risking right there. Some of you won't say, well, I'm not going to be with family. I'm not going to be with friends this week. Okay. Well, then I would challenge you to what I said earlier. To go out there and make a friend. Then be a friend. Because people don't care what you know until they know you care, right? You can have all the Bible verses memorized, but if you don't care about that person, they know it, and they don't care what you know. So go out there and make a friend, be a friend, and bring a friend to Christ. Amen? Amen. And all God's people said, Amen. Amen.